Friday edition of the Huddle continues. Drew, Billy, and Armin bringing it to you. Happy to be joined by our pal Matt Lepay, the voice of the Badgers, live from Chicago, as it's another game day for the Wisconsin men's basketball program. Matt, thanks for getting up early with us. We appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Yeah, game day barely. It almost slipped away, but they figured it out in the end.
Well, at what point after Butchie gives the Matt, the only thing that happened in that 5 minutes is that the Badgers' 3-point shooting percentage went down. Because I think it was like an 18-point lead to a 16-point lead. All of a sudden, it's a 2-point lead with under a minute to go. When did you start feeling the energy in the arena shift? Because I feel like that's one of those things in a lot of tournament games. There's obviously a lot of red in there, but the folks that might not be from Washington and might just be casual observers tend to start cheering for the upset once they feel Mother Mo start blowing.
Generally with America's jinx, Brian Butch starts to sound like the thing.
Oh, yeah.
So you just,
Incredible.
Hammer
that live line when he starts talking.
Brian is really, really good at that for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift that he is perfected.
Keeps on giving.
Yeah.
But 3-point variance is a thing, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And they were absolutely on fire in the second half. They slow start shooting, then they got hot. And then maybe they got a little, I don't know if complacent is the right word, but it seemed like the offense wasn't moving quite as well. And they were missing shots. I mean, it's just their splits are so obvious. When they win games, they're right around 40% from three. When they lose games, it's about 27, 28%. And they went through a stretch, and that's what they were doing. And Washington, to their credit, they're undermanned. 7 scholarship players. They're a walk-on available as well, but they were just letting it rip. And I think yesterday, too, Washington's ability to hit the offensive glass. Hannes Steinbach is one of the best players that people don't know much about probably in this part of the country. The guy averaged a double-double in the Big Ten. He was third team, all Big Ten. So think about that for a minute.
A name you just don't hear, yeah.
He was getting a ton of rebounds and not having Nolan Winter, I think it kind of showed. Maybe you could make that argument yesterday, and that's what makes today more challenging when they're playing the tallest team in the country in Illinois. Not having Nolan Winter out there, they've won 2 games without him, but you could kind of see that the work on the glass, they miss a guy who in his own right is close to averaging a double-double per game.
It's going to be a factor today. Matt Lepay joining us live from Chicago. The onions category, Andrew Rohde hitting those free throws, man. Like that was your senior. That's where you got that guy with the experience. And I was wondering when he went in and when he calmly hit that first one, it's like, okay, game on.
It's kind of amazing what led to that because there was maybe a rookie moment. Wisconsin's up 1. Alexis Bielyauskas has the ball in the baseline and Steinbach fell. So you will not have a more clear path to the basket in that situation than Alexis had. But you got to, you're a rookie. You're going to make this decision. Are you trying to burn time or, you go get the bucket, you're back up 3 again. He instead passes it back out to burn off maybe 2 or 3 more seconds. But those were the only 2 points that Rohde had. He had early foul trouble, picked up a couple quick ones in the first half of the game. And for him, it seemed like a while that he was waiting to shoot those free throws. It was a 1-and-1 as well. So yeah, a lot of credit to him. Sometimes it's not how many points, it's when you get them, and there's a prime example of that.
When that rookie passed up the dunk, in that moment, I thought, here's what goes through my mind. I'm like, well, just don't hang on the rim. Because it's like, that's going to be the only way you could screw this up is by hanging on the rim and getting a tech of some kind.
That's a great point.
Because it was a path to a dunk, and I'm like, he's passing. Yeah. Okay.
But he was actually good for these guys. He had 8 points, 9 rebounds. He did a really good job on the offensive glass. But yeah, those are the kind of, as Butchie said, and he was spot on with it. Every now and then he says something that makes sense.
It works every once in a while.
A lot of the time he said, make that mistake this week, not next. So this is as much as you want to win this conference tournament, if it lays out for you, get yourself ready for next week. And there was a pretty valuable teaching moment there for a freshman.
Well, and that goes into what I was thinking too in general. And we've talked about this before, but conference tournaments and how to manage them and the importance of them is always difficult, right, Matt? Because as competitors, you want to win every game, every tournament you're in, and you want to compete. But sometimes there is this idea, well, loss isn't the worst thing because you get the rest, you kind of recalibrate. It's always a difficult thing this time of the year, isn't it?
It is. In the moment, you can see the competitive nature
of course
all of these teams out here. but doing this for a while, and this conference tournament in the Big Ten started in 1998, so it doesn't really have the history that the ACC or the Big East and all the tradition there. I've talked to people in other programs where if they lose on quarterfinal Friday or even Saturday, you're disappointed in the moment, but you're okay. It gives
Yes.
you, if you're one of those safely in the field kind of teams, like you get yourself rested, recovered, and then get ready for the big tournament. But it is, it's just the weirdest thing, Armin, because I've seen some of the better, more entertaining Wisconsin basketball games in my time doing this in the Big Ten tournament. But it's a strange dynamic because if you get to Sunday and if the confetti's falling for you or not, a half hour later you're finding out where you're going, what seed you got,
Very
and when
weird.
you're playing your NCAA tournament game.
Yeah, the Big Ten tournament, when everybody's asking about the relevancy and the longevity of conference championship games in college football, they're like, hold our beer. All right, we're still making money. We'll figure it out. There's inventory, and television stations need more of it. But it's a strange feeling because, like Rhodey, those shots, he shoots 27 foul shots all year long.
Yeah.
And he waited all year, but kind of his whole life as a Brookfield guy to be able to have them. And Matt, you're right. So many great games happen this week. I think a lot of basketball fans and purists love this week. Some almost maybe more than next week, just because of the ultra damnation that's going to be made on your season after next week's tournament. That comes up.
There's so much drama this week, and this is all the pre-tournament talk. Miami losing yesterday, 31-1. What does that mean? Is the MAC a 2-bid league? You would think so. Like we'll find out together on Sunday, and then Auburn. For some reason, Auburn's still in the conversation. At what are they, 17-16 or so, 17-15 or something like that. So yeah, there's
Yes.
all of that goes on, and there's the anticipation. This is why people love March Madness, because what do these conference tournament games mean in regards to seeding? Does a bubble team play its way in or finish playing itself out? There is the intrigue of it, but we all know why these conference tournaments exist. It's inventory, it's money. And for the conference, going back to when Jim Delaney was the commissioner, he just felt it was really important for the Big Ten to play the final conference championship game that leads into the selection show. There would probably be some coaches who would beg to differ with that, but it's one of those traditions that the league has viewed as very important. So it's probably not changing anytime soon.
Well, get the tradition of the pinwheel back then, please. Put
Thank
that
you.
at
Yes.
center court. Then we need that thing, especially with the extra teams in there. The flag and the colors would be so much better.
The Mountain West, not the Mountain West. The Big Sky is still using that logo. That's kind of got all those like little stripes. It's kind of like the old Blazers logo, like the Trailblazers logo. But I agree, pinwheel. We want the pinwheel back.
Would be nice.
Well, anything's better than what the Big 12 tried and apparently is now.
Oh my
correcting.
gosh.
Some of those geniuses over there. It's like
Back to
They got
people
wood
can
now.
they do a great job of screwing up a nice event. Let's have this brainstorm about the floor.
What are you watching back there?
Nothing. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I was just looking for.
Were you trying to find the
definition?
definition of automatic qualifiers again?
Right.
Friday
No, I wasn't.
13th.
Sorry.
Friday
Okay,
the
sorry, I
13th.
apologize.
Gremlins in the. So Matt, I remember a couple weeks ago asking you when the John Blackwell explosion was going to happen.
There
was
was
that yesterday because it looked pretty much vintage
Awesome.
John Blackwell.
Yeah, and he was really good against Purdue too last Saturday. So he's just just kind of letting it rip again. And you never know with guys. This team they don't talk about it a lot, but they had a pretty good little flu deal that went through the various members of the team and then how they felt. And you could just, Greg Gard made the statement yesterday in his press conference that you can see a look in John's eyes when he's really dialed in, and you can see the other look as well. Coaches are better than the rest of us probably at reading if it's body language or just a look that you get. I know Bo Ryan talked about that all the time. He did in a recent pod with Butchie. He'd look at everybody coming into practice and you could get an idea of what that day was going to be like for him. But John has had the good look here, and he's healthy, and he's just so locked in right now with what he did. 34 points, most ever by a Badger in the Big Ten tournament. It's his personal high. And Nick Boyd had 9 assists. We think about his ability, his speed with the basketball, his ability to go to his left, what everybody in the world knows. He loves to go to his left, but he's still able to do it. But he had 9 assists in the game as well. But this backcourt, if they keep playing like this, This week you hope, and next week you really hope that if they continue to click the way they have been, then this team could be hanging around the tournament for a while.
And for those Badger fans down going to the United Center right now, 28-1 to make the Final Four are the Badgers at certain institutions. And when we talked to Butchie earlier in the week, he had mentioned Boyd's playmaking ability right there, and the 9 assists are maybe the easiest way of showcasing it. How cool is it to be able to see them defer is almost the wrong way of putting it, but John's stroking it like he was no pause from downtown yesterday. Like, you're going to continue to roll the hot hand, but it doesn't seem like they hold back and take turns. That's a pretty mature way of being able to play.
Yeah, and I think they would tell you it took a while to gel. I mean, they're very competitive guys. They went up against each other a lot in the summer drills. And John's the veteran. He's the junior. He's the emerging star. And then here comes Nick Boyd in the portal as a 1-year guy. Been to a Final Four at FAU. People knew in the game, knew his reputation. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's a really good playmaker, and it made sense that it was going to take some time. John had some really good scoring games early, and then there was a stretch where you could tell this isn't. They're not quite as connected as you would want. But that seems to have been corrected, obviously, of late. I mean, it's just, I just remember went into summer practices, went to a few of them this past summer when Nick Boyd was there. And not the first time I went in there, I was talking to one of the staffers, and the staffer said, the bigs better be ready. Like, everybody better be ready because it's coming. You're going to get a fastball, and you better be ready to catch it and then get your bucket. And not 2 minutes after that exact thing happened. I mean, Boyd can score it, and he can hit the 3 as we saw yesterday, and he can drive to the bucket. But I think what helps too, Billy, is that, we talk about teams' inability most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time to defend Boyd, even when he's going to his left. But you got to play him relatively honestly because there are so many other good shooters. There's Blackwell, Rapp can get hot. Everybody on the floor, it seems, has an ability to shoot the ball from the 3-point line. So, and Boyd knows that, and he's taken advantage of that, either going hard to the rim or being able to drive and spray it out. So the people around him have been a big help.
Facing Illinois, and obviously this is in Chicago. Do you expect there to be a partisan crowd? I mean, obviously a little bit, or is that going to be a little overstated because it's still a neutral environment? Wisconsin's close, all those things. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it'll feel more like a home game for Illinois, I'm sure. I mean, there'll be Badger fans here, but for sure, and there were yesterday. But this is when Illinois is playing, and particularly when it's good, like it is this season, playing in Chicago. I think this will be the first day with genuine energy. It was decent yesterday, I guess, but this will be the day with the energy. And you've got the top 8 teams. You got Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Purdue, Nebraska, UCLA, Michigan State. You've got the big hitters in the league playing, but I think of the games, the second one could have the most energy because, as I said, Badger fans will be there, but there'll be a lot of orange and blue in there as well.
Any wigs?
That's a good point. That's I forgot about that. Yeah, the boys
slap one on before the game. You better
run one out there.
All right, so
I'd love to see Butchie put it on.
In closing here, there's no Ion Team Media starts with me, so I have to ask Matt. Being a 1:30 tip again yesterday, that's kind of like working a Brewers Cubs game at Wrigley. You got your choice. You can get into places early. Did you go for a nice steak? Did we go to Gino's East? Where did you and Butchie? Did you paint the town? Because I would probably just be leaving the lodge right now if it was me, or at least I would have been out till 5 and then just getting in. And here you are rested and ready to call a game at 1:30.
True confessions. I did that very thing back in the day. A long time ago. Like, the games were truly an interruption to the social component of the Big Ten tournament. The lodge was visited many, many times, but no, my bride is here. Butchie's got his family with, so the bride and I went out to dinner. Shout out Shaw's Crab House, great job.
All right,
and we will be dining again in the city tonight. And Butchie, I think his much
they got to go to
Legoland.
Legoland.
Going to tell him take the kids to the pool and get out of my way. One of those kind of deals.
You know where I'm at.
A few
I'm
options
at the pool
down here. That's free. And then tomorrow,
sure.
St. Patty's Day. The River Juice Green.
Yeah.
Tail hour starts at like 6 a.m. So it has all the makings of a rough weekend.
Well, I'm sure it is. And I think I heard a train in the background earlier. So I know they got you guys in a great spot right there, probably by Union Station or something like that. Listen, don't get Billy's favorite, which is deep dish. I mean, lasagna.
Lasagna.
You know,
Geno's East.
Yeah, Geno's East.
Yeah.
Pequods.
You got to go there once a year with Rock. You got to go to Geno's East.
A given. It's a given.
That is a given.
I thought the same thing, Drew, when you mentioned those times. That yep, this is a 3-game set at Wrigley Field. 1:30, get out of there. The night is yours.
You cover a day game, and then you get back to the hotel, and the USA Today is in front of your door. That's a pretty good day.
Those were the days.
That's great.
What a good one.
Now you can't even get a paper.
Oh, those were the days, man.
I want the paper, Billy.
Yes.
All right.
Being in the lodge until 5 a.m. Yes. Yeah, those were the days.
Good stuff.
It was good
I
stuff.
can't even stay up till 5 p.m.
That's a different deal.
God.
Times have changed.
Yeah, back in the day, they used to have the media hospitality where they took care of you, and you could get various beverages for free. So there were times that the night out started around 11 o'clock, and these days I'm out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Well before 11.
Well before.
Well, and luckily you guys were the OT game instead of the game before you, because otherwise what would we have heard? Maybe like an hour and 45-minute pregame show that we would have been able to.
Yeah, we've done that before. Did it at the tournament last year. We did it in Milwaukee a few years ago.
Yeah,
I know Foster's when Chris did a game with Butchie. That's one of the reasons said we don't really need to do an hour pregame here, do we? No, let's go a half hour. So we were in good shape. I was very grateful that the kid from Iowa missed that shot at the horn. So we weren't waiting an extra 15, 20 minutes to start.
When we had Foster's on during the Olympics, I mentioned that same thing. He goes, we got to know each other really well. Really well. We got to know each other really, really well.
Nobody needs overtime in a conference.
No, come on.
Make it to the championship game.
Get a ghost runner in there.
Enjoy the call today, Matt. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it.
All right, boys. Take care.